I will entertain a motion to come out of closed session.
So move.
Any discussion? Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Tracy.
Tracy, are you on?
I am, and I vote yes.
Okay. Certification, whereas the Carroll County Board of Supervisors convened a closed session this date pursuant to the affirmative recorded vote and on a motion to close the meeting in accordance with the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. Whereas Section 2.2-3711 Delta of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the Board of Supervisors that such closed session was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. And we were in closed session under sections A1, A3, A6, A8. Now therefore be it resolved that the Carroll County Board of Supervisors hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed session to which this certification applies, and only such business matters as were identified in the motion by which this closed session was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting to which this certification applies. I'll ask each member to please certify. Mr. Collins?
I so certify.
Mr. Hill?
I so certify.
Mr. McCraw?
I so certify.
Mr. Dixon?
So certify.
Mr. Moore?
And I also certify.
And I so certify. Okay, at this time, we'd like to recognize a fine young lady who is retiring, Kim Cloud, if she would come forward, please. Kimberly or Kim Newman Cloud. Kim and I were classmates at Carroll County High School back in 1976.
So you're as young as I am.
I am exactly the same age, probably. But she dedicated 21 years of her life as a voter registrar in Carroll County. Did a fine job. I don't think we ever had one better. I appreciate all you've done for the county in that regard. I'll read the retirement award presented to Kimberly Cloud, General Registrar, 21 years, for your dedication and outstanding service, loyalty, and friendship to Carroll County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody taking a picture? Mike?
Oh, we can make a picture, huh?
Very good.
Thank you.
And now you and Perry can just enjoy life together.
We sure will. Retirement is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll open the floor to citizens' time. We have only one person signed up. That's Tony Ison.
Good evening, members of the board.
Hello.
For those of you who do not know me, my name is Tony Ison. I'm the CEO of the Life Center of Galax and the Life Center of Galax Hillsville. I come to you tonight not with any specific agenda, but simply with a desire to provide an update to the county and offer myself to come before the board in a more formal fashion if the board would ever elect to have me come give an update on our activities. We have had a tremendous amount of growth over the past year since we opened. We now have 171 employees at our Hillsville location. We're getting ready to add 36 more come January 1st. We're tracking to become one of the biggest employers in the county. And beyond that, we have a group of people there who desire to be a community partner. Life Center Galax as a whole right now has 271 total employees, and of those, 173 live in Carroll County. I mentioned I was coming tonight, and a few of our local Carroll County families that I work with wanted to come too in an effort to show the board we want to be engaged with our local community. We are lucky to be associated with an organization that is committed to a mission that would be one that is in the best interest of what our local community is, and in one that has resources. And we have a desire to partner with the community to help us really take advantage of what I think is a rare opportunity, and that is for us to have a very large local employer here that has the flexibility to really, I believe, immediately address some of the needs of the community. And I simply wanted to share that with the board and express our openness and willingness to speak with the board at any time about anything, and also to volunteer to come and speak to the board in the future. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we'll move on to the minutes. We've met twice. We have minutes from August 14th, 2023 and August 29th. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes either separately or together.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the minutes together.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I'll call a vote. Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Consent calendar. Everyone's had an opportunity to view the consent calendar. Do I hear a motion to approve this month's consent calendar?
So move.
Do I have a motion, a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I'll start the voting with Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. We have invoices to approve from August 28th, 2023 and September 11th, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve separately or together?
I'll make a motion we approve both invoices A and B together.
A second.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Start the voting with Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, under new business, VDOT resolution, Mr. Durbin, would you like to read that, or Mike Watson, would you read it for us?
Either one.
This is a resolution of the Carroll County Board of Supervisors. Whereas the Carroll County Board of Supervisors have agreed to convey the county's 6-acre parcel located off Route 100 in exchange for VDOT's 3-acre parcel located at the northeastern quadrant of the 52 interchange of the Hillsville bypass. And whereas the Board of Supervisors confirmed that Carroll County has acquired the land adjoining VDOT's 3-acre parcel, and whereas the Board of Supervisors agreed to construct a perimeter fence on the county's 6-acre parcel, ensuring that all work performed will be according to VDOT specifications. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Carroll County Board of Supervisors have approved the terms specified in the above property transfer, adopted this 11th day of September, 2023.
Okay, for clarification and informational purposes, this piece of property will be part of the property that we intend to build a new emergency services fire and rescue building on in the future. Mr. Watson?
I had a question. On this resolution, it was 6 acres parcel located off of, okay. But in exchange for 3+ acres, there's approximately 6 acres of both properties. So this would include an additional area. There's 3 acres at the very top, but it also runs down on another parcel that runs along the road. I just want to make sure that we accept this resolution, including that other piece of property in there.
Is that a typo?
I don't think so. I think it was sent from them, but I want to verify that before we agree to make this exchange.
And actually, all the parcels together are closer to 8 acres.
Yes.
So it's not 3 acres for 6.
Right.
Okay,
A motion we table it till next month
Can they vote on it?
for review.
there's a motion to table.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Start the voting with Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
I vote yes. Quarterly appropriation. You have that in your packet. I assume everyone has seen it. Do I hear a motion to approve the quarterly appropriations for Carroll County?
So move.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Start the voting with Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Personal property tax resolution, that is also in your packet. Do I hear a motion to approve that?
So move. Sorry. Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Durbin, do you need to elaborate on that, the tax resolution?
Mr. Chairman, just sorry. This is a resolution governing the allocation for the personal property tax relief. It is, I think, generally just sort of a standard resolution that the board would typically adopt. As far as the actual dollars applied to the relief, I defer to the county administrator on that.
He's passing the buck.
Okay.
Mr. Watt.
Every year we receive the same amount for personal property tax discount. So every citizen in the town that has a property, the Commissioner of Revenue sets that percentage of each person gets off. So every year we have to adopt these numbers. So what this says is, according to your personal property taxes, that's discounted of $1,051,551.69. The recommended percentage that we receive for the qualified vehicles, and there's a guideline those are set on, it will be 20.32% discounted. So
And that's on vehicles below $20,000.
I believe so.
Is that correct?
Yes.
It is.
Is there any discussion?
And also within the resolution, it breaks that down on it's personal vehicle value $1,000 or less will be eligible for 100% tax relief. So if it's a vehicle under the value of $1,000, then they don't pay any taxes. And then from $1,001 to $20,000 be eligible for that relief.
Okay, thank you.
And if I could, one other thing I would add is if your vehicle's valued over $20,000, you're eligible for relief on the initial $20,000 of value. No discount over that threshold.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? Start the voting with Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Old business committee appointments. Do I have any nominations for social services or the Withville Community Board, Withville Community College Board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Mr. Franklin Jett for the Withville Community College Board.
We have a nomination for Mr. Franklin Jett.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? We'll start the voting with Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. We have a vacancy on social services. Do I have any nominations for that vacancy?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Cheryl Coleman for the Social Services Board.
We have a nomination for Cheryl Coleman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? Start the voting with Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Board member comments. We'll start with Mr. McCraw.
I'd just like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'd like to especially thank Kim for her years of service to the county and always being willing to answer questions when asked. So, just like for everyone to remember today, 22 years ago today, what happened to this country. And I really, you know, I think we try to forget things sometimes, but this is just a day that we don't ever need to forget. I know that Mr. Early pulled some time in a fighter jet seat that weekend or that day. And I just appreciate him for his service. For everyone else that lost their life during this time, I appreciate them for their service. And I just need to remember that. And once again, like Trace, everybody remember Tracy and his family. His daughter is dealing with an illness, and just thank staff for what they've been doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hill?
I want to congratulate Kim too. She's always been helpful. No matter how aggravating I was, she's always been helpful to us. And I also want to thank all the county employees, everything we do here in the county to make things better for the citizens. And thank everybody for coming in tonight. It's been a very good night. And also think about Tiff and Tracy and his family. And also never forget 911. I remember when this happened, talking about the jets flying. The only pilot I knew was this gentleman sitting off to my far left. I thought about him during that day. And but never forget. That's all I got.
Thank you. Mr. Collins?
Yeah, just like to say congratulations, Kim. Good to see your family. Wonderful group of people. Tony, thank you for coming and giving us an update on what's going on at the Life Center. Thank you all for what you do and your service there and helping the people that you're helping that are in desperate need of help. So thank you. Thank you to our employees. Everybody's working hard, making things run well. The splash pad, all of it's just been a good summer.
Thank you. Mr. Dixon?
Yes, I'd like to start out by making a motion, if it's okay. I want to make a motion to transfer $33,395 to the Carroll Wellness Center to replace the lower cardio rack.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have a discussion on that, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr. Moore.
Would that be, the question would be the Budget Committee and Mike, would that be something that we could take out of the CIP money that we have, Mr. Watson?
I'm going to ask a quick question here. That's $33,395.
Yes.
Okay, and we can, you can approve it if that's what you want to do tonight, and we'll bring back at the next meeting a appropriation with where can you take it from. Okay. We still need to. What I'm saying is, if it's voted to approve tonight, we still have to come back and approve a place to take the money from. So I'll be able to communicate with that direction of the board where you want to take it out, whether it be CIP or from one of the departments.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Moore?
What did y'all think?
Yes, could that motion be added to, that it could be taken out of the CIP so that the administration would have direction on where we wanted it to come from?
Yes, I can add that to my motion.
That'll be fine.
Take it out of the CIP.
And I'll second.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Moore?
And this would be above the.
Yes.
Just
Above the.
okay.
Okay.
No, that's all, thanks.
Any other questions? Start the voting with Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Dixon.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Okay.
Continue.
Thank you. I have another motion I'd like to make. I'd like to make a motion to start with the RFP and the engineer to design at the recreation department the placement of a new swimming pool, the 2 baseball fields we talked about at the lower level, a basketball court, and 2 pickleball courts. Of course, time is urgent, so I'd like to have this completed. We'd like to have it completed by the end of the year as far as layout and a cost, but that's my motion.
We have a motion by.
I'll second that.
All right, Mr. Moore, thank you. Any discussion or questions?
think we need to, it's gonna take some work to make that design happen. You know, I'm not sure that's sufficient time.
I'm gonna bring up one question, okay? And when you're trying, okay. One, it's gonna be difficult to get there, but we'll do everything we can. Um, I guess one of the questions is when you build a pool, there's 100 different pools. Do you want, I mean, do we need to put together maybe a group with the recreation department or something to try to figure out, is this just a standard square lap pool, or is it what kind of facility is, and that will determine the size and the things that you need. I mean, we can do a general layout of what it would be, and then probably get square footage of some of the designs and what the cost is. I'm just asking a question before we move forward as far as is that something you want me to work with the staff to try to work out?
And do I understand correctly that the motions to go to RFP for engineer to start that process?
Well, no, but also to the cost of the fields and everything, but an engineer also to lay it out and design it. So if it needs to be two motions.
I would like, Mr. Chairman, if I could speak there, I do have something. I think staff, Mike and the staff have done a wonderful job on the splash pad, and I think they would be more than capable of coming up with something to help with the engineer on what we would want, you know.
I agree.
All right.
So is that a motion to offer a substitute motion?
Could you restate your motion to make sure that we know?
I'll amend my second.
Okay. So what am I adding to the motion?
That staff would look to design it.
Okay. So
Yeah,
having a motion that staff would design the swimming pool and the placement of the.
So I think you would move to amend your motion.
Okay.
To direct staff to work toward a design and proposal that could go out for
bid
for procurement.
Okay.
For a swimming pool and the I'm sorry, you said swimming pool,
pickleball courts, 2 baseball fields, and a basketball court.
So that would be the motion to amend.
Okay, I'll amend my motion that we let staff direct the layout.
And then if that motion receives a second, then I think just a vote to amend the motion, and then you can vote on the amended motion.
Okay.
Tracy seconded.
Okay. Any discussion?
I really think we need to hire people to help staff do that sort of thing. That's going to be time consuming, you know. I think that should be part of it.
Well, that's what the engineer will be. Let them meet the engineer. You're gonna have to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just going to put their input in. That's my opinion.
That works for me.
Okay. And Mr. Watson, we want an Olympic-sized wave pool so we can surf.
We were actually talking in the office today about traveling to a local area that put in a wave pool, so to see what other places have built. So.
Okay, well, I think that's. Go ahead.
And also too, Rex, I think on your thing too, I think the rec commission should be a major part in helping with the layout and design as well.
So do we have a motion to amend the motion?
Yes.
We do?
That's just part of it.
Okay.
My motion to amend the motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to amend the motion.
A second?
Tracy seconded.
I'll second it.
Okay.
I'll second it.
I hope there's no more discussion. We'll go ahead and vote. Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Now,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Now the motion has been amended. Now you would
vote on the amended
vote
motion.
on the amended motion.
Okay. Any discussion or questions concerning the amended motion? No? All right, start the voting with Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
I vote yes. Anything else?
I'm not making any more motions right now, so I do have a few things. Chris, would you get all that? No. The splash pad grand opening. Do we know anything about it? And Mike, grand opening in the ball.
We have set a date for the grand opening of the splash pad, I believe. Yes, and the playground should be finished sometime this week.
They're already playing on.
I understand that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Other than that, I just like to thank staff, and especially we're adding more to their plate, so we'll have to get them some help on this. But we do appreciate everybody for what you do. Like to see recreation continue to grow. Kim, thank you for your service. You were always very helpful. We appreciate it. Good to see you and your family here. Thank you, Tony, and everyone that came from the Life Center. We do appreciate you coming. Appreciate you working what you do. Hopefully, we can get you on an agenda to come give us a report and some stuff and work together. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Moore?
Yes, I want to thank staff. I thank the Mars Appreciation Dinner, and thank them for all they do. Thank Kim for her years of service to the county and all the help that she's given me over the years. Apologize to the citizens that couldn't make it tonight, and appreciate the board and all the people back home that are keeping us in their prayers, and thank staff for all they do. Thank all the men and women that serve in the EMS and the Sheriff's Department, and Mike and his staff. Appreciate y'all, and thank you, Jody, for filling in for me on short notice. And with that being said, that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Tracy. As most of you have probably noticed, I am filling in tonight for Mr. Moore as he continues to be by his daughter Tiff's side as she battles some very serious health concerns. He is here with us tonight by phone and in spirit. We continue to pray for Tiffany and the entire Moore family. We wish her a speedy recovery. I'd also like to thank the folks from the Life Center. It's great to see you out here. We want you to be successful. We appreciate what you're doing. Thank you very much. Kimberly, I already said it once, but yes, you have always been very helpful, and it is good to see your family here. We wish you the best in retirement, and again, thank you. I'm going to ask for a vote on a resolution concerning the wearing of masks in Carroll County. A resolution of the Board of Supervisors of Carroll County, Virginia, stating the board's official policy regarding the use of mask mandates to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Carroll County is aware of recent increases in COVID-19 cases in localized areas across the United States, along with public concern in certain communities relating to this increase in cases. And whereas the board strongly believes that personal health decisions such as whether to wear a mask or face covering in public places and whether to vaccinate oneself or one's children is a matter that is rightfully left up to the individual in consultation with their medical professionals to make informed decisions in the best interest of themselves and their families. And whereas the board is aware that a number of published scientific studies have shown that general community-wide mask mandates outside of certain limited healthcare settings are generally not effective to reduce community spread of COVID-19. And whereas the board is aware that general vaccine and masking mandates have the potential to carry adverse consequences, including learning loss and delayed verbal and social emotional development in schools, impaired communication among individuals, possible breathing problems, and other adverse health effects. And whereas the board is mindful that efforts to improve broadband internet access throughout the county has not progressed to the extent that quality high-speed broadband is readily available, and they are therefore, the existing availability of broadband is not sufficient to support general distance learning by school students in lieu of in-person learning. It strongly opposes any policy which would supplant in-person learning with internet-based education. And whereas the board strongly adheres to the principles of personal freedom and personal responsibility, strongly respects the rights of parents to make decisions in the best interest of their children. And whereas the board is skeptical of overreaching governmental mandates, believing instead the venerable maxim that government which governs least governs best. And whereas personal freedom carries with it a corresponding measure of personal responsibility, including the obligation for individuals to stay at home when ill to prevent spreading infection to fellow citizens. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Carroll County Board of Supervisors as follows: that individuals are free to wear masks or decline to wear masks in accordance with their own good judgment upon all county-owned grounds and within all county-owned facilities or facilities which are leased by the county or which are otherwise subject to county control, with the exception of the judicial wing of the Carroll County Governmental Complex, a governmental center, which is subject to the supervision of the resident judges as provided by Virginia Code Section 15.2, 1800, subsection F. 2, that the board expresses its intent and policy that no mask mandates shall be adopted, ordained, or enforced by the county as a prerequisite for persons to enter upon, access, or utilize county facilities, county-owned properties, or when on public rights-of-way or county parks. That the board, mindful of the separation of powers denoted in Article 8, Section 7 of the Constitution of Virginia, strongly recommends that all public schools within Carroll County refrain from mask mandates and remain open for in-person learning throughout the 2023-2024 school year. This resolution is hereby adopted by the Carroll County Board of Supervisors on this 11th day of September 2023, once voted upon. At this time, I will ask for a motion concerning this resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? With none, I'll open the voting with Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Well, it is 9/11. It's been 22 years today since Islamic terrorists slaughtered 2,977 innocent American citizens at the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Many of those who perished that day were firefighters, police officers, and EMTs. Since then, we have lost over 3,000 servicemen and women in combat in the Middle East and elsewhere to rid the world of the vermin known as Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. Additionally, over 30,000 service members have committed suicide resulting from combat-induced PTSD. I'll ask you now for a moment of silence to remember and to pray for all those who were lost 22 years ago and all those who have ever served and continue to serve this great nation in the name of freedom, both in and out of uniform. Please bow your head for a moment of silence. Amen. We shall never forget. I will mention that this board has decided to change its meeting date from the second Monday of each month to the first Monday effective in October. And that is so we can attend some of the Town of Hillsville meetings, so we open better communication lines with the town and continue the cooperation that we have built upon so far this year and previously to this year. That meeting is October the 2nd, which is the first Monday of October. Is that correct, Mr. Watson?
That's correct.
I also want to remind everyone that the employee lunch is tomorrow, the employee appreciation lunch, and I hope everyone can attend. We're looking forward to it. It was a big success last year. And with that, I'm finished talking. I will pass it on to the county administrator for his comments.
I just have a couple things. I just want to thank Tony and all the people come out and showed support. It's been I'm gonna say a difficult time over the last few years as this has come to fruition. But I really appreciate that you're able to come out and just wanted to wish Kim a great retirement. I'm jealous, and I've really enjoyed working with you the last few years. So thank you for all you've done.
Anything else? Mr. Durbin?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman, other than just to note and clarify, if we haven't done so already, that Mr. Moore was participating under a policy adopted by the Board of Supervisors allowing remote participation under Virginia Code Section 2.2 3708.3.
Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
I vote yes. Thank you all for attending.